so now we're going to move into games that I've been playing alone, you know, on my time, rather than games I've been playing with people. And the first one, I just recently picked this up. It's Super Mario 64. I've been hearing all about this game for years and years and years, and everyone's like, oh my god, you've got to play it. It's Super Mario 64. It's like the greatest, you know, N64 game ever, or whatever. And since I'm a big fan of the N64, I figured, yeah, okay, I'll pick it up, you know. Pete Dorr on YouTube said it's like the greatest N64 game ever, and all my friends were pushing me. If you've seen the Diddy Kong episode, you remember him, Mav was like, you haven't played Super Mario 64? And, you know, I had it, okay? But I played it recently. I've been playing it. It's pretty good, yeah. I'll say it was definitely the way they needed to go with Mario into the 3D realm. I think the reason I held off on playing it for so long, though, is because I knew I was going to suck at it. I really do. I'm just terrible at this game, you know? N64 fan and all. I'm just really bad at it, so... but for what it is, I think it's a really good launch title, and it's definitely probably one of the better games in the N64. But I have a lot of classics on the N64 in my head up here. But it's a good game, you know, check it out. I don't, it's not for me, I don't think, you know, so, it's just 3D platforming, I don't know, something about it's just not me, you know, it's just not, but it's a pretty fun game even still, and one day I'll get around to, you know, beating it, playing it, and the shit out of it. It took me forever to get through World 1, so I know how bad I am at it, so, yeah. It's just one of those games, you know. I can't really give you a full, like, impressions of this, but my first impressions is it's fun, and if I were anybody else and I was actually decent at this game, it'd probably be a lot of fun, a good time. So, yeah, definitely, I would recommend it, I guess. It's alright. And then, okay, so recently I have been on a Dragon Quest kick because, well, Dragon Quest X should be coming out here. Let's hope so. On the Wii U, perhaps. Let's hope. It's the only reason I would buy that right now, actually. Let's hope we get Dragon Quest X. So I've been in Dragon Quest kick lately, and there's been some that I've neglected to play for a long, long time, and I've just been pushing them aside because I knew I wasn't going to want to play them. Anyway, so recently I've been playing Dragon Quest VI, as you can see there, Dragon Quest VI, and what can I say about Dragon Quest VI? Definitely you're going to want to get this with it, and from what I understand, the strategy guides actually go for a lot more than the games do, but Dragon Quest VI, man oh man, I'm going to tell you, this was one of my least favorite Dragon Quests. Not that it's a bad game at all, but it's just so much of the same that it's just... You're going to want to have this strategy guide if you're going to play through it, just because, and I was really looking forward to this one too, because it was the last one we hadn't gotten here in America, and, yeah, I don't know, I did play it, I got all the way through it, I beat it, it just seemed so easy to me until the final boss, and then it was like, hey, you know, I'm going to kick your ass for about 2.5 weeks, and that's what it did. It sure did. It kicked my ass for about 2.5 weeks. Anyway, so I finally beat the game, and, you know, my thoughts on it are, it's just not as good as some other Dragon Quest games. If you're going to play a Dragon Quest game on the DS, you're going to want to play Dragon Quest 4 or Dragon Quest 5. Some of the better Dragon Quest games for the DS, you know? This one, I wouldn't say don't get it, but it's for hardcore Dragon Quest fans only. I don't really like Dragon Quest VI all that much. It's really infuriating because it's probably my least favorite in the entire series, but that's not saying it's a bad game at all. I'm not ragging on this game. It's a fun game, alright? If you're looking for some Dragon Quest action, it's a good one. It's just don't start with this one, okay? Because it's more or less the same as so many other Dragon Quest games, and I couldn't get into it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me or whatever. But it's just not the game for me. That's a Dragon Quest game. So, yeah, it's a good game. Just, you know, play some other ones before it. Definitely 3, 4, and 5. 1 and 2 are good as well. They're just a little bit dated. If you're gonna play a Dragon Quest game though, if you want to start with a good, like the best Dragon Quest game, one of my favorite games of all time, Dragon Quest VIII. Go ahead, try that one. That game is awesome. This game has nothing on Dragon Quest VIII. It felt too much of the same. I just couldn't get into it as much. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as some Dragon Quest games. And then the other one, which I've just been playing briefly now that I beat Dragon Quest VI, is the other DS game, Dragon Quest IX, that I haven't played yet. I've beaten Dragon Quest 4 and 5, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Dragon Quest IX, which I've heard from Happy Console Gamer and a bunch of other people like that. This is a really awesome game. And when I started playing it, and I've only played a little bit of this month, because I just got back to it. But when I started playing it, I just saw so much of an improvement over Dragon Quest VI. Dragon Quest VI left me with a bitter taste. And then this one just spruced everything. The graphics, the gameplay, everything is just way better. I hear there's online to this one. I mean, not that there was going to be to 6 anyway. I enjoyed this one a lot more than 6. Not that I've beaten this one. I'm not even very far into this one. I'm, maybe 10 or 12 hours into it. But this one, I just felt it's a vast improvement over 6. And I mean, obviously 6 is a less superior game from the Super Nintendo days. And that was just a remake of it. But then again, you can say that about Dragon Quest 4 and 5. Dragon Quest 4 was actually for the NES back in the day. And the remake was just epic. That game was so awesome. And then Dragon Quest V came around. And I mean, I know that one was on Super Nintendo, but that game was awesome too. I mean, not really Super Nintendo and NES, it was Famicom and Super Famicom. But anyways, no, but that one was awesome. I love both of those. And then I played Dragon Quest VI, and I was just kind of disappointed. And Dragon Quest IX, it seems to be bringing it back to that epic feeling that the other games had. So, definitely recommend this one. Haven't played much of it yet. Looking forward to getting back to it, though. It's my portable Dragon Quest game for right now. But there's one more thing. That's a Dragon Quest game that I've been playing the shit out of recently. That is Dragon Quest VII. Now, this game is supposed to be getting a remake for 3DS, and I hope that actually happens, because this would be a really great portable game. I'm so into this game right now for the PlayStation. For the PlayStation, I have to actually sit here at my TV and play it, and I don't even care because this game is just so awesome. I've been playing it for just the past few weeks, and I've just been, maybe not a few weeks, for the past week now, and I've just been sucked in every single night. I want to get on, I want to play it. I mean, it's definitely needs a strategy guide from like GameFAQs or whatever. Maybe not to some people, but for me, because I'm just not, just so I don't get lost or whatever. But damn, this game is so much better than Dragon Quest VI. I played this. This game came out like before the remake of Dragon Quest VI, and I mean after Dragon Quest VI came out, and obviously in the Super Famicom. But this game is just awesome. It's got 2 discs, but from what I understand, I'm really, like halfway into it now, and I can just say that this game leaves you with such a better atmospheric feeling. The Dragon Quest VI, there's, the premise of 6 was like, it was kind of the same premise as this game. You go back between the past and the present, and you change between worlds or whatever, and it's an interesting dynamic, to say the least, and that's one of the parts I liked about 6, was that dynamic, but it's just done so much better in Dragon Quest VII. Dragon Quest VII actually gives you this environment of, you feel like you're in the past, and they give you connectivity to the present, and it really, you can feel both timelines in that way. The gameplay mechanics is, once you beat the level in the past, you need these shards, alright? You have to find shards to put into these pedestals, and it's kind of like a puzzle. You put them in there like a puzzle, and then once you have one, you can go to the land on the pedestal in the past, because there's like a map on there that you're putting together with the shards, that you find throughout the world, and you can find them in the past and in the present. And that's the interesting part of the game. You have to find all the shards, you put them into place, and you can go to new worlds every time you get enough shards to put them into the place of the puzzle. And then you get to go to that world, and then once you beat it in the past, you get to come back to that world. It's like a land. In the present, and you can sail there with your ship, and then you get to help in the present as well as in the past, and it gives a lot of connectivity through past and present, and the mechanic just works a lot better in this one. It's kind of hard to explain, but definitely really, really awesome. Dragon Quest VII. I've been sucked into this game recently. This is a really good one. I can't say it's one of my favorite Dragon Quest games, but it definitely reaches at least, top 6 or 7. It's really good. It's really, really good. I wasn't expecting much of this. I was thinking it was going to be more like 6. It's just more of the same and monotonous and all of that kind of stuff. But no, this is actually a really good game. You have to play this one in the Dragon Quest series. I can't say it's as good as 8. 8 is my favorite. Just hands down, 8's the best. Whatever. I'm just saying. This game is one of the... I think it is the top-selling PlayStation game in Japan, and for good reasons. This is a really good game. And it brought back the mechanics from 3. The one where you can pick your own... What kind of party you want to make? Like, you can be warrior, cleric, all of that stuff. You don't get those options till, like, midway into the game. But when you do get those options, there's a lot of room for customization. They had that in 6, but I didn't feel like doing it in 6. There was no reason to do it in 6. I didn't make anybody a different class from what they were, and I still beat the game pretty easily. So, I mean, I'm just saying, Dragon Quest VII, initially my thoughts on this are way better than what 6 was. So. And I really do hope they make a 3DS version of this game, because that would just be epically awesome. And what else can I say? This is a great game. This is what I'm going to be playing for quite some time until I beat it, and then I can play on 9, and hopefully Dragon Quest X comes out, so there's that. Okay, before I get into the feature presentation of this, there's one more thing that I want to show off that I've gotten recently, and that's Conker's Pocket Tales for the original. You can play it on the original Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, but this is a really good game. From what I've played so far, like some other games, I haven't had time to actually go back and play a lot of this one yet. But Conker's Pocket Tales, really good. Not as good as Conker's Bad Fur Day, but we all knew that, like, when we were gonna play this one. This one actually came out before Conker's Bad Fur Day, and it's the precursor to that game. And it was really cheap, so I picked it up, and it's for a Game Boy game. It's in a 3D environment, kind of like, kind of reminds me of the 3D from Marble Madness, that game, kind of like that. And it's on Game Boy, which is an 8-bit system, and it's kind of got that kind of 3D going on with it. It's pretty remarkable for an 8-bit system. Yeah. And a lot of people were saying it's more of a kid's game, and I can definitely see where they're coming from with that. But my first impressions of the game is it's fun, and if you play it in the right mindset, it's a pretty good game, Definitely worth a check out if you played Conker's Fur Day, or Conker's Bad Fur Day. Or you should play this first, I don't really know. Probably Conker's Bad Fur Day first, and then you play this. Originally, Conker's Bad Fur Day was supposed to be a sequel to this, and it was going to be another kiddie-friendly game by Rare, and then what happened was people were criticizing them for just keeping on making their kiddie-friendly platformers like Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64, and so they said, fuck it, we're just going to make a really balls-to-the-wall, dirty, just full-on adult sequel to this game, which was a kid's game. And God, my God, they did. They did. Conker's Bad Fur Day, I'll tell you what. But this game, pretty good. I would check it out if you get a chance to. So, just my initial impressions anyway.